Hello and welcome. My name's Kate McCarthy from katelmccarthy.com and youronlinesuccessjourney.com. I have with me the gorgeous Kimberly Sumner, who is a women's prosperity mentor. Now, I have known Kimberly for over a year now, and I have always wanted to interview her, and especially because of the topic, but also because I have had the opportunity to get to know her very well. I think you're going to love hearing what we're going to talk about today. So, Kimberly, I'm going to get you to explain exactly what you do for our women and mums in business, and we'll keep going from there.
Oh, gorgeous. And Kate, it's lovely to be here, and we are friends. And yeah, to you lovely ladies, working mums in business, I'm a women's prosperity mentor. So I help women just like you, working mums, transform their relationship with money for more prosperity. And by prosperity, what I mean by that is more prosperity, more money, more abundance, but in a way that comes to you also with ease, with joy, and connected to your heart and your feminine side. And yeah, just ask me questions.
And that's the thing, you brought up the feminine side and our heart, and knowing I'm a head person, that is a really interesting area, because a lot of the time we lead with our head. If we are a head person, it's connecting back with our heart that is actually the journey, and being feminine about it as well. In a mixture of worlds, if we're working from home or if we're working in an office environment or a business environment, how do we manage being feminine when there are masculine influences around us? And what does that mean?
That's such a good question, and I think it's a real theme. I'm feeling that from all these women around the world at the moment, this whole theme of how can we allow, especially women going back into business, having just had children recently, you don't want to give up being a woman, being feminine just to earn money. Because when we do that, we actually disconnect from our hearts, and then we don't really want what we think we want. We actually push away success, we push away prosperity.
Okay.
So I certainly find that, and some of the women I work with actually also in the corporate space and going back to work, I'm hearing a real call for that, to bring in a more feminine way of doing business. And it's not to say you're all about going into your feelings the whole time and you're out of your head. It's more a balance, that your strategy is led in an inspired way from your heart. You trust your gut reaction and your heart to tell you, if you've got a to-do list that's this big, what are the things that will really matter? So Kate, you and I were talking earlier about you could do a whole lot of action and get no results.
Yeah.
Actually, when we listen to our heart, we're guided to the actions we need to take. And when we center ourselves with maybe in the morning, something I do and a lot of my clients do, with ways and means to call in what we want for our day, and to allow co-creative support to help that, then we can put down that burden of it all being about us, having to do it all, which is tiring, right? Does that make sense?
Very. And I'm sure a lot of mums would understand that totally.
Absolutely.
Yes, and it's a whole new world when we come into that motherhood, but then when we're balancing a business as well, it's a shock to the system. It really is a climatic change.
It's a shock to the system. I think a lot of women, what happens is they go back and think that in business you have to do it a particular way, a should way, a masculine way, rather than trusting a way, you know, when we're mothering, we trust our intuition way more. But then we go into this business space and we go into our heads, rather than also remembering that our actions have far more results and things just magically line up when our vibration is giving it out. You know how if you're thinking about someone, a friend, and she just calls you, and it's exactly the same in business with attracting prosperity, that when your heart's in the right place and you're vibing out, for example, one of the things, you know, in a really practical example of this, Kate, in the morning, if I'm wanting to have a conversation with someone and it to go well with one of the champions who's supporting me or a client, I'm going to visualize that conversation happening, and I'm going to send them a vibration in the morning when I'm going through my money rituals, my abundance rituals, all that sort of thing. And it means what the vibration and connecting them with your heart and a more vibrational energy means that just things go a lot more smoothly, and you prioritize your actions differently. So you're still doing actions, and you're still making decisions, and you're prioritizing, but all of that starts to be led from a vibrational allowing space where it's not just up to you.
And that's so being so mindful about everything we do. Yes.
Be mindful. And it's a challenge. I mean, you know, I was just talking about that before. When you've got a whole lot to do, sometimes remembering that if you're working really hard, you're actually vibrationally often not. When you're wanting something so much, you can often give out to the universe a vibration of lack that you don't have it, rather than saying, hey, it's happened for me now. It's already there, and just being a bit more peaceful about it, and then allowing your breath to sort of be with you while you're doing your steps. And I'm not saying, I just want to put it out there, I'm not saying you're sitting around like this all day doing meditation. That's not at all. You and I both know, I work with my clients, we're looking at strategy and we're looking at numbers, and around your relationship to money as well, and where money wobbles may put the brakes on your prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
But you also want to, it's a balance. Connect in to your heart too. And I think the world's really calling out to a more feminine way of doing business.
No, I think that's true, absolutely. And that's right, and I do understand that when you're looking at so desperately that you want something to happen, you close it off so easily. And and it's something we can just do in the flow as well. And, you know, if it's the first thing when we get up, or this is too much info, don't picture it, but in my shower, that's where my head goes. And it's my time. I haven't got kids in the shower with me. It's my central time where I just go, It's kind of like, okay, I've got 5 minutes, and yes, I have a longer shower because it's my time.
Your time.
So before we lead into the others, how did you get into coaching, and then especially into the prosperity area?
Well, there's a bit of a story. I mean, like all things, there's always loops and roundabouts, and I actually did start a long, long time ago as an economist, and then managing money for an investment management company. But I'm not a corporate person. That wasn't my space. Anyway, long story short, because I know we're mindful of time, about 13 years ago, my husband and I bought a business. He is a dentist. He knew nothing about business. I had a business background. I did all the strategy and the numbers side. And I'm still the commercial manager of that business, which is a very large turnover. But I got tired, I'm sure you women can relate, to coaching my husband. So then I started, and I also got tired of doing all that head stuff. You know, I wasn't happy. I was unhappy doing head stuff that was not connected to people. So I started migrating some of the advice that I was implementing myself in our business and helping my friends. And then I was helping more people. And then we moved. What I found is I didn't get the results really that I wanted with coaching my clients until I moved from simply addressing numbers and strategy, which is all head stuff, and we moved into actually, where do you push prosperity away? Where, for example, if you had a childhood, we receive all these messages, Kate, in childhood, right? And it's not our fault, but we receive them from our parents or earliest caregivers that, for example, if you're going to do well and, earn lots of money, it needs to be a struggle. For something to be a success, it needs to be hard earned. You need to have done your time, climbed the mountain, beaten the pavement. And your parents, what that can mean is you take on board this sort of belief, it needs to be hard, right? Or you may I've talked to a lot of clients who beliefs that there's a bit of judgment. If you want more prosperity, if you want more money, you're not a good person. Just wondering if any of you ladies can relate to that.
Yeah.
And, that stuff I've had to work on myself, that sense of selfishness. And women, we don't want to be selfish, right? So that can act as a money wobble. So I haven't been able, the biggest results I've got with my clients, and in fact one of my clients, she told me just before Christmas, she's been listening to some of my audios and working on wobbles. She did 2 5-figure packages she sold just in the week prior to Christmas, and she said it was just as a result of looking at clearing the wobbles. And so I find that actually when you address the wobble part, where you put the brakes, what I've identified is 6 main money wobbles that we as women share that put the brakes on our prosperity, and when we address them, then it comes in much more easily. And that's what I like to help women do, because if I'm truthfully honest, I love seeing women get results. So because it makes a big difference, it makes a big difference to how they can reward themselves and look after themselves personally. It looks after their family. But mostly what excites me the big time is when you transform your relationship with money, you're transforming your relationship with yourself, because that's what it's all about. Letting go of all this, I might swear, but this, all this stuff that we take on board from childhood that actually weighs us down. Let it go.
Absolutely. And our kids can feel that. And we just talked about how we, as young ones, took on that money wobble in ourselves. And it's no fault of anyone's. It's the way we interpreted the situation that we saw. That we want to think then, okay, how are our kids watching us? What are they taking from our conversations, from our feeling, like our mood, our energy, every day that we do something? And
that's so true, Kate. In fact, and one of the reasons I started doing a lot of personal development, maybe 12 years ago, was a result of my first child being born. I think your children inspire you to be better people, right? And for those of us who are working mums, it's in the place of our business or our workspace that we often do a lot of our areas of personal growth.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's about more prosperity, but also it's about the journey of the person you become on the way to attract more prosperity. They go hand in hand for me.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's it. Everything's holistic, really. You can't just pull out a part. It's a bit like exercise. It's like, I just want to work on this part. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. Oh, goodness. So if we've got mums who are just absolutely hitting a wall and they're just, it's like, why is this happening to me all the time? Yes. What can they start to put in place? Like is there a routine that we could think about?
What would be some concrete practical steps?
Yeah, practical steps. Like first thing in the morning, oh my God, you get up, you start either do the washing up, get the kids up, do the laundry. What can we do for us that really gets us started on the right foot?
One of the things that I always think, rather than, because we can be quite task-based as women, it's really neat if you can just lie in bed or as you're doing your morning routine of brushing your teeth, really think about the 5 feelings you want for the day. So for today, I wanted to be inspired, I want to connect, I want to feel safe and secure. It's the feelings you want. Every day you'll notice they're different. I think it helps connect you far more with your feminine side and your heart. In terms of if you're struggling with prosperity, it's always good to let go of some of the baggage, that stuff that comes from our parenting. And while I teach a lot of exercises, one tip that can help your listeners or you lovely ladies watching this is to consider some of the messages you got early on in your childhood from your parents around prosperity, and where there were any spaces that made you feel uncomfortable or messages, writing them down and then releasing them, through some journaling. I love you, I release you, I forgive you, I set you free. Because it's not your parents' fault either, or your earliest caregivers. It's just part of this whole karmic baggage stuff. And it's not until you can let it go that you can actually move forward and focus on what you want to create. And the third thing that I would suggest, and a lot of women have had great results with this, is if you go to my website on KimberlySumner.com, there's a free More Prosperity meditation. It's a guided audio, and it's really how do you create more prosperity in under 15 minutes a day. And if you go there, a lot of women just love, you listen to an audio, you can do it whenever you want, if you're out walking, if you're lying down, if you're doing chores, if you're driving to work. It's just to put you in a subliminal state to call in more prosperity this year. Yeah. So,
Having listened to a lot of your audios and keep listening, they're very powerful.
And I've been quite, time-based, so under 15 minutes a day, and it's on my website at KimberlySumner.com. So,
That would be really helpful, and it's certainly something that 15 minutes we can make that time.
You can make the time, absolutely. And knowing it can happen. What's that Pantene ad? It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. But for it to happen, you have to do something about it. You have to change the story. You can't do nothing for it to change. That involves, doing something to release the past and then replacing that with bringing in something to create a new story that connects you both to your heart and to some of your cerebral processes.
So basically we're slowing down and putting us first, and it is a decision. I know that you get caught up, and school holidays are really hard. I know in the Southern Hemisphere we've got school holidays at this time, we're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's over summer, their summer. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, school is going back in a week and a half. Fantastic. But we can start now. We don't have to wait until school goes back. It's like New Year's. I try and avoid the New Year's resolution, but sometimes certain things are the psychological clear canvas.
Yes.
We can start that morning ritual now. We can start, even if it's during the day.
Such an easy thing, yeah. And you can start at any time in the day. So don't beat yourself up if it hasn't happened in the morning. But thinking about your feelings for the day, you can start that tomorrow. You can start that today. What are the feelings you want to bring in today? Listening to a meditation, you can start that today. It's not hard. You can use it while you're walking or while you're driving the car. All of these things, though, little baby steps starting now. Because I promise you that it's not about working harder. It's not about, I'm saying this from experience, and I'm saying it from the experience of what I've seen with lots of my working mum clients. It's not about doing more or efforting more. It's about calling in a different way of doing this, where you click in with, you know how you have days when you're in flow and you're just, it's just there for you?
Yeah.
It's about more consciously taking you into a space where you connect in with energy that supports you. So you're guided. You know, you've only got this much time. So as a woman, it's actually more important that you're connecting with that feminine side and that you're guided to which actions are going to create the most impact in your business. For example, you can waste, if you have your own business, in practical terms, you could spend a whole lot of time targeting clients who were never going to value you in the first place, putting your marketing efforts into the wrong space. And so that means your conversion is lower, or you know, if you've got a money wobble that if it's easy, how can I charge that? Then you have a whole lot of sales, but your the revenue, it's never going to make it viable.
Never going to raise that bar.
And if you're working in a, you know, in a larger sort of the workspace, by making it hard on yourself, and if you're feeling it needs to be a challenge, then you don't align yourself with champions within the organisation that can pave the way for you. And then you might create conflict, and that conflict then impacts yourself and your relationship with your children and your partner. Yeah.
Everything has a flow on. Wonderful. Oh, Kimberly, that has just been fantastic, and I hope everyone got some great tips. And I know that I hadn't done the 5 feelings for a while, and I think I'm going to make sure I put it up on my mirror when I'm in the bathroom, so it reminds me to do the 5 feelings.
5 feelings, yeah.
Absolutely. And visualizing, I know what when you get this video, everyone, you know, you could have a sales call, you know, in the next few hours. Sit down and think about how you want that to go, because mums in business, one of the biggest challenges is selling ourselves or selling our own product and believing in it. So please take that time to sit down and visualize how you want that meeting to go. And
feeling, also sending out a heart vibration to the person that you're serving them and that you're there to help them, because they connect. You know, your mother knows when you're having when you're about to call her, right? And so that vibe, it carries across technology.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds good. And Kimberly has a wonderful offer for us all. I'd love you to tell us about that. It's the Money Makeover program.
So I run this money makeover program, and Kate's done that, where we look at clearing the 6 main money wobbles that we as women share, and we're starting that on the 31st of January. Now, usually that's $397. If you would like to talk to me about that and to check in that you would be a fit for the program, it would be my honour to offer you as one of Kate's gorgeous ladies that for $297. So
wonderful.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, good. And I did that late last year, and it has made a big change in my life. And yes, cannot recommend it highly enough.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So wonderful, Kimberly. Thank you so much. And I usually ask for one thing people can do, but I think you've already covered that. So
yeah, we did.
Yeah, so we really did. So, ladies and anyone else watching, welcome. But take that time to just be present with yourself and really think about how you want things to be, and inspire yourself and your kids by doing this. Because once you take that first step, it's the hardest, isn't it? And make it into a habit.
making it into a habit, and it lifts you, and you'll see it ripple out to your whole family, and it inspires your children to be better people, and your partner, you know, you make the change yourself, and then your partner or husband, they change, and you know, this whole balance of doing it in a masculine, feminine way, it's not about throwing out doing action. You know, you're still doing business, and you've still got to be really mindful of how numbers work and strategy, but by connecting them with feminine energy, it's saying that the vibration is equally important as your actions. And being guided then to the ones that you need to take, that are going to have the most impact.
Most impact, that's important. And you can find Kimberly at KimberlySumner.com and also on Facebook. But so please reach out. Is it best if people go to your website or find you on Facebook? I can put the link under this video for that program.
The prosperity meditation, it's
on the website.
Pulled off on the website at KimberlySumner.com, but I'd also love to connect with you on Facebook. I'm on Kimberly Sumner Happiness Blind Spot. So.
Excellent, and I'll put the link in under the video. So Kimberly, thank you so much for your time and your inspiration. It's wonderful coming into a new year. So this, I forgot to say at the beginning, is part of the Prosperity, Profit and Nourishment series. And
such a nice thing, Kate.
Yeah. I think I needed it myself, so that's why it came up for January, putting ourselves in the right position to make 2017 an absolutely awesome year. And I'd love you to comment below if you have any feedback or any results. That would be fantastic. And we'll see you all soon. I'll be putting out a new series. It's not going to be every month, but I'm inspired to do something more regularly now. Yeah. So we'll see you on Facebook or our website. So have a great week, have a great month, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks. Bye. Yeah.